Now that we have cleared up some of the misconceptions by using the Quran, we all know that Muslims are also waiting for the return of Jesus to lead the believers. We will finish this lecture with 2 biblical quotes on the celebration of Christmas. In the following 2 quotes from the Bible, one attributed to Jesus and the other from the Old Testament, the biblical Jesus gives us his biblical mission statement. From Matthew chapter 5 verses 17 to 20, "Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy but to fulfill." Think about this. The biblical Jesus is telling us that he has come to fulfill the law and the prophets. Now, the only law we have at that point is Old Testament. Jesus says he is here to fulfill that law, and later on he'll tell us to teach that law. There is no Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John written yet. There is no Paul, there is no any of that. It wasn't written. Paul is the first writing, and that is approximately 35 years after the ascension of Jesus. And then we have Mark, the Gospel according to Mark, is actually written some 65 years after Jesus has left. So the only thing Jesus is teaching us is Old Testament law, is Old Testament. Now we have 5:18, "For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law, till all be fulfilled. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments, and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whoever shall do and teach these laws, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven." Now listen very closely to this next verse. "For I say unto you, that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees, ye shall in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven." Think about what the biblical Jesus has done in the above verses, in the previous verses. He tells his audience that they must follow the laws that came with the previous prophets, and he is here to remind us of that. He then warns the believer of the punishment that will befall those who do not live by God's laws. Why would people not get into the kingdom of heaven? The biblical Jesus told us. They break and they teach the breaking of God's commandments. The very same Old Testament commandment that Jesus said he was sent to fulfill. Remember, what did the biblical Jesus tell us his mission was? He did not come to destroy the law or the prophets. He was there to fulfill all of that. And if anyone teaches anything different, they will be counted amongst the least in heaven and even kept out of heaven. And why is all of this important? Because the laws in the Old Testament that the biblical Jesus refers to tell us, and we're referring to Jeremiah book 10 verses 1 through 4. "Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen," or don't copy the heathen, "and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. For the customs of the people are in vain. For one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen, with the axe." Think about this tree. "And they deck it," or decorate this tree, "with silver and with gold. They fasten it with nails and with hammers, that it move not." And the rest of Jeremiah 10 goes on to describe the brutish heathen and the corruption of the believers, all of whom will face God's wrath. So every time someone brings in that Christmas tree and decks it or decorates it with silver and gold, they are violating the Bible and the teachings of their prophet Jesus, of their biblical Jesus, and what he was sent to fulfill and what he was sent to teach. And if you need any more information, you can certainly contact us through the website www.thedawahschool, THEDAWA school.org. Now I'll handle any questions. Now that we have